Whenever I hear persons with a myriad or a multiplicity of health concerns, because of the information that we have gotten, where in our society, in our system, most persons, when they are sick and they go to their healthcare professional, each area or each sickness is itemized, and they are treated based on that itemized system, like going to a supermarket. But the body is very very different from that. And so I like to speak to the root cause. We like to get to the root cause. So in today's show, and today not going to be enough, but in today's show, I'm going to try my utmost best to get to the root cause of a lot of the ailments. So a lot of the ailments that people have just have one root cause. And a lot of the people who come to us have so many ailments or so many areas of concern that it might not be practical to deal with all of them. So what I want to talk about is restoring the body to its what I call default or factory setting. And to do that, I'll use the analogy of a phone. You may have a smartphone, and that phone that you have, you may have, for example, tampered with it. And after tampering with that phone is now not functioning, or that phone may have picked up a virus. And when you bring your phone to your technician, the technician notes that there are so many things wrong with the phone that it's easier to restore the phone to its factory setting than to item by item restore the areas of concern that you have. Now, our body is just like that. Our body has a default setting. And a lot of the ailments that we have, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the stomach acidity, the infertility, constipation, a lot of these challenges that we have is really a sign that the body is in a confused state. And one easy way of resolving that is restoring the body to its factory setting. So I'm going to talk about how do you restore the body to its factory setting. And I'm going to talk a bit about learning to interpret what the body is saying. And I want to start from the very outset that our body is, the scripture says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And one of the reason for that is that our body, when we were born, our body had a number of pre-programming built into it, or a number of you want to call it consciousness, or if you want to call it a number of intelligence built into it. Now, so we started like that, and then our mother started to breastfeed us. Now, when our mother breastfeeds us, one of the things that she's doing is that not only do we have immune intelligence, but what is also happening when we are being breastfed is that all the diseases, all the different viruses that our mother overcome, all of these diseases, whenever your body overcomes any type of illness or sickness, it does not just overcome it. The body stores a record of how it overcome it. And so when a mother breastfeeds, a child not only benefits from what is programmed in its body, a child also benefits from all the immune intelligence that was passed on from the mother to the child. It's very important that we understand that, because one of the fundamental principles of healing is that the body heals itself. And so a baby who is 3 months old wouldn't live long enough to have had enough immune intelligence. So one of the ways that we benefit is that we benefit from the immune intelligence of our predecessor, of our mother, which is why in the medical system, breast milk is so important and breast milk is encouraged, because that breast milk is not just food. That breast milk is very, very important because it is intelligence in the mother's milk that is passed on to that child that will potentially allow the child to be able to ward off attacks. Now, these attacks that affect the body are not conscious. So the body is so powerful that while a baby is being attacked by a multiplicity of viruses and bacteria, there's nothing to show that is happening. But the child's immune system is working. Last week I spoke about fever. one of the ways that we know that a child's immune system is working is when a person has fever. A lot of us don't allow ourselves to have a fever long enough so for the immune system to work. As the minute we get a fever, we take medication to break that fever spell. And your medical doctor, your healthcare professional will tell you that a fever isn't a bad thing if it is not at a certain temperature and if it is not prolonged. A fever is actually a sign that your immune system is working. And so our body, therefore, has immune intelligence. Our body has the ability not only to defeat attacks, but it has the ability to store that information as well. When you look at, you have to cut me now because I'll just run and run and run and run and run and run and run. Okay. All right. So that is very important. It's very important to understand that the body has immune intelligence. Not only does the body have immune intelligence, the body is intelligent enough to communicate to us. Our body communicates to us. One of my, the greatest area of my work that I do is helping people to interpret what their body is saying to them, and also helping persons to understand what plans say that they have available. So every week on Sunday on my channel, I do a video called 60 Minutes with Mother Nature. And the goal is to help people to understand what plants are saying. If you know what plants are telling you that they have, and if you know how to interpret the body, what it is telling you that it needs, then you have a perfect solution to resolving almost any disease that comes. Because remember now that in the body, no disease exists as a label. No disease exists as a label. So the body, for example, does not say, oh, this is the famous cancer, and oh, this is just the regular old cold. The body doesn't know the difference between cancer and the difference between a common cold. There are no labels inside the body. What the body will do is that the body will go to work. The body will heal itself and the body will protect itself. And so it's very much important for us to understand. That's the basis that I want to start from, that the body heals itself and that the body actually communicates to us. And so I spoke last week about, I gave an example about the fever. The body rationalizes that, oh, there's an invasion of a bacteria or a virus that it wasn't able to neutralize. And so it says, oh, the body is intelligent to know that this foreign entity that entered it cannot live at a certain temperature. So what the body does is that it increases, without you consciously knowing this, the body increases its own temperature to a temperature that will cook that virus inside of you. So what the body is saying is that bacteria and viruses live at a certain temperature. So it's attempting to cook that particular virus. Again, that's one of the way the body talks to us. Most of what we call disease or dis-ease is really the way the body talks to us. And so we have been taught to fear what we call disease. Now think about it. We fear disease, but we don't fear what causes a lot of the diseases. A lot of the diseases that we have is caused by habits. Habits. So a lot of persons come to me, a lot comes to us with diseases that are habit caused, or habit triggered, and they want an external solution. So what we do is that we talk to persons and we find out from them what habits, or we share with them what potential habits they are involved in that might contribute to such a condition. So the first thing that we do is we look at the violations, the breaches in terms of habits, and we resolve those first, because it makes no sense to give somebody a solution, even if it's natural, if the habit that caused it is still in place. And so what we want to do is we want to help persons to know how to restore the body to its default setting. We spoke a lot, some about that. We spoke about some of that last week, which was detoxifying, because the body default setting is an alkaline setting. That's what the body's default setting. The body default setting is an alkaline setting, and we become sick the minute we begin to move from alkalinity to acidity. Once we move from alkalinity to acidity, then we start to get sick. And so this evening I want to talk about how to restore the body to its default or factory setting. And of course, when we talk about default or factory setting, we're talking about natural diseases. We're talking about natural diseases. This may not be the solution for persons who have some type of diseases. Some diseases cannot be resolved by restoring the body to its default factory setting. But what restoring the body to its factory setting will do is that it will improve the body's ability to protect itself, and it will improve the body's body to heal itself. So most persons who are sick, ask yourself the question, why are you sick? If the body is designed to heal itself and to protect its sick and to protect itself, for you to get sick, two things has to happen. One, the body's healing mechanism is weak. All right? So if the body's healing mechanism is weak, then the body cannot heal itself. So we have to make that distinction. Is this person sick because their body's healing mechanism is weak? Or is this person sick because, number two, their body's healing mechanism is damaged? Two things. Is your body's healing mechanism weak, so it means strengthening, or is your body's healing mechanism damaged? That has to be the two distinction that is made. And once we talk to persons, when I consult with persons, that is what I'm trying to determine from when I talk to them, from when we see them. We're trying to find out, is this person's healing mechanism weak, and where is it weak? Because the body has 12 major systems. When a person comes to us, there is the cardiovascular system, there is the muscular skeletal nervous system, there's a digestive system, there's a reproductive system. Our goal is to find out what is the weakest system and how do we support that weakest system. Is it damaged or is it weakened? And so once we find that out, that is where the restoration begin. Let me just pause there so maybe I can take any questions.
Tell me what the reset actually look like, or the benefits of that.
That's a very, very, very good question, because, and I like the way you started, because it wouldn't be wise to tell somebody about a reset, which is positive, without preparing them for the negative. Because in everything that there is positivity, there is, there's negativity. So, and this, of course, is depending on to the extent of your health. Now, once you hear reset, just like your phone, if your phone is going to be reset, what the technician is actually going to do, you're actually weighing, because the technician will tell you that we need to find a way to back up. Because what the technician is actually going to do, the technician is actually going to detoxify your phone. In essence, that's what he's going to do. That technician is going to detoxify that phone, because that phone has had some form of corruption, which is affecting its smooth operation. So the person who owns the phone will have to make a decision on the benefits. Is this ultimately going to benefit me? Am I willing to suffer the discomfort and the loss for a greater good? And so that is the mental question that anybody who is coming for a natural approach must understand. And I'm gonna give you examples, because you did ask, so I'm just starting from there. So the thing the person must understand is that sometimes they may start out feeling actually not better before they start to feel better. It's very important, because persons think that, oh, for me to get better, I'm just going to start out by just getting better. So for some persons, there is the issue of losing weight. Yeah, some persons may lose weight, and I balance that by saying that the body is very, as I said, the body is very intelligent, because the body is intelligent to know that based on your height, there is a particular weight that you have. So 2 persons may do a detox. The one that is 200 pounds, that should be 120 pounds, after 1 week loses 20 pounds. And the person who is the same height, who is closer to what their average weight is, just lose 5 pounds, because the body knows that it can't afford to lose as much weight as a person who is more overweight, right? So one of the discomfort might be losing weight, maybe headache, it may be eruption, bumps on the skin or flare up on the skin, it may be confusion, it may be bad breath, it may be mental fogginess. It varies from person to person, but if it is that you're going to go through any form of cleansing, you are going to experience some amount of discomfort. And then, not to talk about the withdrawal from what you really enjoy and like. Because a lot of what really makes us not healthy are things that we really enjoy. So we have to, a lot of times, so I ask persons, I said, some persons who come to us, my question is, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to think about it carefully. Think about what I'm going to say. Do you want to get better, or do you want to feel better? Right? Do you want to get better, or do you want to feel better? We realize that it may seem and sound simple, but not a lot of people know that different. A lot of people will want to stop what made them feel better and not get better. A lot of persons don't know that they don't want to get better. What it is that they want to feel better. So after feeling somewhat better, the question is, how soon can I go back to the habit that made me sick? So I like the question that you asked, because sometimes there has to be some amount of counseling to prepare the person mentally for what they think they want. And sometimes it is at that point that persons realize that they're not sure what they really want. They don't know. And so sometimes the minute some persons start to feel better, we have retreats where we get people to come in and we work with them. And there's a series of videos on my channel called the Wellness Report. Now, in that series of videos that I do, I actually believe in documenting the process. I don't want to just tell people, say, you're going to get better, because the reality is I can't help anybody to get better. The body heals itself. All I'm doing is just giving person the knowledge to get the raw material so that the body can get the raw material to do what it is supposed to do. So so many people come, when they come to that retreat, they cheat, they feel better, and they start to cheat, they start to smuggle in stuff into the retreat facility, because after 3 days, it's challenging. And some of the persons who have called us, we've recommended that intercellular cleanse to them. It is not easy for the first 3 days. So what it looks like is sometimes mental fogginess, cramps, muscle cramps, headaches, bad breath. Sometimes there is boils that come up on person's skin. And depending on what it is, the list goes on and on of initial, what we call healing reactions before it starts to get. It is really endorphin, I find. Let me tell you what I find. In a lot of the person that we work with, I've actually started to put a program in place to deal with the mental effects of being sick. Because when a person, for example, has cancer, and when a person has a debilitating disease like multiple sclerosis and all of that, 67% of what it means to be healthy is a state of your mind. And you would be amazed. You'd be amazed at what the mind can do. Let me give you an example. And I feel so comfortable I can share. I had 2 clients. One of them was from in the Kingston area. and he came to us saying that he had cancer. He had cancer, prostate cancer. And when he came to us with a sponge because he lost so much weight that he had to be sitting on a sponge. And when he came, after about a week, put him on the program, and at Mark, I'm not telling anybody, I can't heal no disease. I can't heal no disease. The body heals itself. And so it is the Creator who made us and said that we are fearfully and fully and wonderfully made. He is the one who should get all the glory. So he came to us. We just showed him what to do, and he was with us for about, I think he was with us for 10 days. And his eyes were yellow. He gained weight and everything. While he was there, we bonded. We became good friends. And he was telling me about what he did. He was a fitness, I don't want to go into too much details, but he was a fitness instructor. So he showed me some picture of how when he looked handsome, good looking. And being a fitness instructor, he made most of his money by offering private escort services to women. I didn't know that's why his body was so important to him. When he came with his wife of a couple years well. And I didn't know that they were not together until he died. So I'm going to tell you what happened. He came, he got better, he left. And the man went back into a life of whoredom. He got sick. I don't want to give too much details. He got sick, he came back. And when he came back, this time I was sharing with him. And he got better again. He went home and he had some medicine. He went to his medical doctor and they gave him some medicine. And they gave him a particular dosage that he was supposed to take. And he said, well, if, he was one of those persons who said, if they said take 1 cup, well, I'm going to take 3. So he did over the amount and his health declined. And from that point, he just never came back. At the same time, I had another gentleman who, when he came to us, he was living a life he was completely loose. He was all over the place. This man came to us, and when he came, we sat down and we talked, and he was so grateful for the cancer. He was so grateful for the cancer. While he was with us, he spoke to everybody he could meet, and he was telling me why he was grateful. He said that he has a wonderful wife. And for all the years that he had this wonderful woman, he never valued her. He lived a life of looseness. And it was because of the cancer why he found back faith. And he was never worried about the cancer. He gave thanks for it. And let me tell you something. He was a wonder because the cancer that he had, he never lost his sex drive. The cancer that he had, he never experienced pain or any type of discomfort. He would only be weak sometimes. But he believed cancer gave him a chance to found his faith back. And so he spent all of his life, for the rest of his life, he looked for meetings like these and platform and WhatsApp group and all the different platforms that he could find to share his testimony to help persons. Now, I'm saying that to say that the mindset was very different. And so I realize now that when people are sick, even though we work with the body, a lot of persons who are sick, it has to do. So restoring the body to its default or factory setting is not about just the physical body. It's about also the state of mind that the person is in. And this is so important. And so a lot of persons who are sick, they come to us panicking. A lot of persons who are sick, and maybe they may have reasons to. A lot of persons are fearful. A lot of persons have mental and emotional issues that sometimes make it difficult for them even to get better because they're always stressed out. So I'm just saying that to say, to restore the body to its factory setting, persons may also have to mentally understand that it is going to take some mental preparation, and it's also going to mean that there are going to be some initial negative feelings before you actually get better. I can go into why that is so from a biological perspective. We're looking for 12,000 persons to teach for free. 12,000 persons to teach for free about herbs. And the way we teach herbs is very differently from how I learned about herbs. I learned about herbs by learning that black substance, that dry substance is Damian, and this is what it does, and this is what it doesn't. This wasn't how indigenous medicine was taught. Persons were taught by interacting with the live herb. And so basically I've organized, I've put that chart together to disseminate, to share the knowledge, how it came to me. And one of that is by helping people to understand that herbs are intelligent also, and they communicate to us. They communicate through signs and symbols and taste. So just by tasting a particular herb, you can know what that herb does. And as you said, when I was in Florida, I showed you the chart, and we spoke about bitter herbs. And bitter herbs, for example, have the most power over the liver. And I also talk about the fact that we have 4 tastes. We have sweet, sour, salt, and bitter. Now, we have diseases from sweet. We have diseases from salt. We don't have any diseases from bitter foods and sour foods. Sour foods are food, and I'm talking about foods, I'm talking about plants, by the way. I'm talking about herbs. Sour herbs, one of the chemical responsible for that is a number of acids. So that tartness, that sourness is for the most time, one chemical presence is vitamin C, which helps with absorption. So you won't see any diseases linked to eating sour foods. And you won't see any diseases linked to bitter foods, because most bitter foods stimulate the bile. As a matter of fact, most plants have some amount of bitter in it, but to a mild extent. So when you eat bitter foods, what it does is that it stimulates the flow of bile. Last we spoke about bile being that bitter substance in the body that naturally alkalizes the body. So in the day, when we acidify our body and we go to bed at 7 o'clock, when we're in the dark, because the liver begins to work at about 7 o'clock in the night. So at about 7 o'clock, when we are sleeping, when it gets totally dark, the liver begins to work and it begins to secrete bile, and bile now begins to neutralize that acid that we put inside the body. So this is why sleeping is so important, among the many other processes that take place. During the night, when we sleep, the body intelligently seeks to alkalizes itself. So every night we sleep, the body alkalizes itself. And now we can understand why these gadgets, these lights, these artificial lights that we have, why it contributes to why so many persons are sick. We are solar beings. So our body absorbs nutrients along with this movement of the sun. So the best time for the body to neutralize nutrients is about 12 o'clock. As the sun begins to go down, the body's ability to neutralize minerals also decreases with the sun, because we are solar beings. We are solar beings. At night, when we are sleeping and the sun is completely gone, our body moves from a stage of absorbing nutrients, because our body has 4 cycles. And I don't want to jump all over the place, but the body has 4 cycles, 3 cycles, and we go through them. But during the night, our body goes through its absorption, the cycle where it begins to heal itself. And so during that time, the body is not absorbing nutrients. The body is utilizing what it absorbed during the day. It's also getting rid of the toxin. All that the body is doing it while we are sleeping subconsciously. So bitter foods is very
expound on a little bit was the issue of how our bodies memorize things. You said like a child earlier in your presentation wouldn't have enough time for their body to register certain things. I want you to kind of explain how that correlation between your gene adapting to certain things based on, I guess, age and experience, and kind of expounding that, because I was particularly interested. I was like, interested.
Yeah, so
I want to hear more.
Yes, I'm fascinated because, as I said, the body. One of the ways also that the body is able to communicate with plants is, let me give you an example. If you say, for example, because we've only been taught the difference between evil and good. If you think about the death of somebody very close to you, just say to yourself, somebody just call a name, that person just died. Ask yourself the question, what feeling do you get? Do you get a high vibration feeling or a low vibration feeling? Now, think about somebody saying you want a minute. So in the same way, we experience energy, but we don't pay attention to these things. So in the muscles, it's called kinesiology, where some practitioners can talk to your body, and based on the response that your body give, they can use that. The muscles store information, and the body can tell you what it needs or tell you what it doesn't have. There are persons who are trained, they're called kinesiologists, and these are persons who will put you on a bed like a therapist, and they do what is called muscle testing. And from just a muscle testing session, you will be amazed what they learn about you just from your muscles. Your muscles store information. So just imagine the amount of, and I don't want to go on it, but just think about the stored information from slavery. Think about the stored trauma from slavery. Some of the issues that we now grapple with as men and as women and as a society, a lot of these are stored in our muscles from generation before. Exactly. It's stored in us. And sometimes that explains why we do some of the things that we don't know why we do. It is subconsciously being done because of immune intelligence. And this can be positive responses and negative responses. I remember I had a very bad experience with female being abused. And I didn't know why I couldn't watch movie for years with women being abused. I didn't know until one day I was talking and it came out of my mouth that I saw a traumatic experience to a woman when I was about 3 or 4 years old. And it affected me even up until now. My body stored that information. And so sometimes people do things as defense mechanisms, as coping mechanisms, because of what is stored in their body. And so, but the point that I'm making is the body, some people who are doing negative things or positive things, they don't even know that these were traumatic experiences passed on to them from their mother, passed on to them from their grandmother. In the same positive way, one thing I talk about a lot is a lot of people who are natural healers who don't know. Because one of the things that I do is I help to identify people who are natural healers, persons who their great-great-grandfather, great-great-grandmother were powerful healers, and the healing ability is trapped in them and they don't know. I know I have persons who are judges, persons who are lawyers, persons who are politicians, persons from all walks of life who had no business in what they were doing. They should be natural healers, but they're not able to make that connection. And so it's very important for us to understand, about the body's ability to defend itself, one, and the body's ability to heal itself. So, it's so important. But I don't want to stray, because what I wanted to talk about this evening was, how do you restore the body to its default or factory setting? And who should seek to restore their body to its default or factory setting? Who would best benefit from such a activity or such an action? And I said to persons who have multiple ailments. So if you have a multiplicity of ailments, then chances are you are one of those persons that would benefit highly from restoring the body to its default factory setting. A person who has hypertension and diabetes, and back, a multiplicity of ailments. All of those ailments were ways that the body was telling you that it needed your attention. Because you see, a lot of times we see these as negatives, but this was the body's attempt to tell us that something was wrong and we didn't pay attention. Now, what the body does is when we don't pay attention to what the body is saying, the body knows only to do one thing, and that is to escalate. So you had one condition and you were too busy because of work, or you were too busy because of what you had to attend to. But it's okay, no problem. Escalate. So you had a stomach, you had problems going to the toilet, and then all of a sudden it becomes ulcer, and you're not paying attention, and all of a sudden it becomes cancer. The body will not stop escalating a particular ailment until it gets your attention. So the longer you take to pay attention, the longer you ignore it, is the more the body will continue to escalate till it gets your attention. So a lot of persons who say, boy, I'm really, really sick, all it meant is that you weren't paying attention to your body. A lot of persons don't know what a healthy stool look like. We have persons who come to us and we have to teach them how to use the toilet, There are a lot of persons, because again, let me give you a natural example. As human beings, we weren't made to sit in a toilet. We were made to stoop. Now, when you stoop, your colon has a particular shape. And so when you stoop, because when you sit in a toilet bowl, if you notice you have to push. The higher your toilet bowl is, the more you have to push to pass your stool. When you wipe yourself, because again, when you go to the toilet, if you use the toilet in the proper way, when you wipe, there's very little that comes on the toilet paper. Because the rectum, when you do it properly, cuts off the stool, that part, it cuts it off. And so when you wipe, you're supposed to see just a little spot. When you don't use the toilet properly, when you don't pass your stool properly, when you wipe, you're going to see more soil on the toilet paper, because that cutting off did not take place. Because when you bend, your back forms an arch. Not only that, but your stomach is close to your thigh, and so it's natural for you to pass your stool. Not only that, when you pass your stool, you feel more complete. So a lot of persons who sit on that nice expensive toilet, can you imagine, we're so sophisticated that we think that when we have a toilet to sit on and to ease ourselves, it's an advancement and it's progress. Not realizing it is at the expense of our health. The human being, just like the dog, think about the dog. When the dog is easing themselves, you notice how they hunch their back. That's a natural form for the body. And once they pass the stool, that dog don't have to wipe themselves. Or what the natural form for us to ease ourselves is for us to stoop down, so that the legs help to put pressure on the stomach. The back is curved, and the muscle at the muscles in the colon now helps the stool to come out naturally. So even if a person is constipated, some people when they're constipated, they don't use the toilet. They bend down, and you notice you go much easier, much quicker. So a person, for example, may be having constipation problem, and it's not based on what they're eating. It's not based on how many times they're eating. It's just based on the fact that their toilet bowl is too high. Just their toilet bowl is too high. And so that now starts where when they go to bathroom, they don't completely empty themselves. And that happens over a period of time. And what happens is the person ends up being backed up. And so, one way to do that, is maybe to get a stool, so that when you sit on the toilet, or to get a lower toilet bowl, right? So when you sit, you actually your legs are raised, and so you're properly easing yourself. So just by having a toilet seat, we may have breached the proper protocol of easing ourselves. Something as simple as that. You don't need a laxative. You don't need to eat more fiber. Your fiber is okay. But when you sit and you are pushing, So you end up getting a hemorrhoid just by not sitting on the toilet properly. It's as simple as that. So it's not about when you come to just, okay, I'm going to give you this herb and I give you that herb and I give you that herb. No. It doesn't start there. When I start talking to the person, you come to me with a constipation problem or you come to me with a hemorrhoid problem, we're going to start a discussion from your toilet. We're going to talk a discussion from what does a healthy stool look like? What's the healthy shape? And what's the healthy color for a stool? So in my office, I don't have one now, but in the office that I had, I need to get it up back. I have a stool chart. So I show you what a healthy stool looks like, what's the color of a healthy stool. So again, as I say, the body communicates with us. Before your problem resulted in what it is, your body was talking to you a long time. It's just that you didn't know how to interpret. Most persons don't know what a healthy stool looks like, what the shape looks like, what the color looks like. I can tell you a lot of things from some people when they drop their stool, they don't even look at it. It's okay to examine your stool. It's okay to learn from the stench of the stool. I can tell you a lot about the stench of the stool. I can tell you a lot of persons who are on our program, when they do the amazing gallbladder and liver flush, they have to send me a picture of their stool. So I give them a WhatsApp number, send me a picture of your stool. And I go through the stool with them and I explain to them what that is saying, what that is saying, what that is saying, because the body communicates. The body don't know no disease by name. Doesn't know any disease by cancer and diabetes, no. But the body talks to us. So when I hear about, I'm not a medical doctor, when I hear about somebody's complex name, I have to talk to you to find out from you what's happening in your body to help make sense of what the body is saying so that we can know now how to proceed from there.
Thanks for watching this video. Please support Dr. Ben at ICM TV, at Dr. Ben ICM TV. Please support him. Understand the body and medicine. Please subscribe to my channel also. Thank you.